Hello, cunts. Daddy's home. Welcome back to another episode of Why So Serious, a Nerd podcast. My name's Andy, and I'm here with my co-hosts David Cochran and Caleb Culver, as we are here to bring you a fantastic episode today. But first of all, it's only going to take you 10 seconds. Jump over to Instagram, TikTok, or X. Follow us on social media, and you can keep up to date with all of the latest news, some random fun videos, Dave's ranking of suits and other nonsense that he spends time doing when he pretends that he's doing work instead of when he's hiding from his wife. And obviously catch everything else on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you catch your podcast episodes. You'll catch all of our episodes on those sites as well. You can also jump over to Paramount Comics if you'd like to buy yourself a cheeky little comic. Use the code WhySoCidious at checkout and get yourself a couple of dollars off. I think it used to be bigger, but apparently JD spat in their face or something, so they reduced the amount of discount that we now give, because apparently he's really, really bad at giving blowjobs. So they reduced the amount of discount that you get from WhySoCidious now, but you still do get a discount, so that's all good. You can't complain at that. You can also jump over to our website, which you can find in all of our links, find out a bit of information about us, see Lub's ChatGPT written bio.
This is going to everybody. Scorched
and find out a bit more about us, and you can also get a link to our merch store and pick up a cheeky little outfit for yourself coming the summertime and rep your favorite podcast.
Or for your baby.
Or for your baby, or for your mum, or for your dead gran. I don't really care who you buy it for. Just spend your fucking money at the WhySoCidious website.
She would love it.
Yeah, she'll absolutely love it. It's a great thing to get buried in, or cremated in, either way. We're not fussed, we'll have the money by then. It'll all be good. Do what you want with it. Shit on it for all I care. I don't know what's happened to me today. It's late at night. I've had a beer. It's fine. But we are here to talk about...
You're in the boys' mood.
Yeah, I'm in the boys, you fucking knobheads.
Diabolical.
Absolutely diabolical. Right, so we are here to talk about The Boys. We're here to talk about the end of Season 5, Episode 8, the finale episode to the entire show. So we're going to get into it because we've got a lot to say about what was quite possibly one of the shittest endings to one of the best shows that I've ever seen. And so I think before we rip into it, we should have a counterbalance, someone that's going to speak a bit more nicer about it. Caleb, give us your initial thoughts on this finale episode.
Well, I didn't hate it. I mean, I think I liked it more than
That's
you
why
two.
I said you're the balanced one out of the three of us. We'll let you speak first before me and Dave fucking tear it one.
It was very predictable. I think everything that happened was something we theorized in the chat around this show. But I think they did what they needed to do. I think they did a good job of wrapping it up as well as they could. I do think there were a lot of side stories that are kind of left to the wayside to kind of figure out on our own. But the final showdown with Homelander and Butcher, that was satisfying. That was enough for me. So I liked it.
That was enough for you, Caleb. Okay, we get a more detailed insight into your psyche there of what's enough. Hopefully, JD's going to be joining us in a minute. I just got a message from him saying that he's hoping to join us in a moment, which I think we should wrap the episode up and say that we're done before he jumps on. So hopefully he'll join us in a minute. But Dave, before we get into any super massive detail about the episode, just give us sort of some overall thoughts once those credits rolled.
Yeah, man, when the credits rolled, I felt great. 100% satisfied. I thought they did really well. They kept the budget up. They kept the writing quality up. They really made Gen V's 2 seasons worth it in the long run, and Marie's build up. I mean, that really was a satisfying conclusion there. Scorched Earth was crazy. I've never seen so many desks broken. It was just great. Satisfying across the board. Great job, Eric Kripke. Can't wait for Boys Mexico. No, yeah, that sucked. I mean, let's be honest. It reminded me of Stranger Things. It had a very unsatisfying first half and action conclusion for me. I love on your comment, Butcher walking. I know we're going to get into it. His entrance into that scene was beautiful. It gave me chills, Homelander's smile, everything about it. I was like, all right, here we go. And then 3 minutes later, it was over. So yeah, that was unsatisfying for me. So just like Stranger Things, I thought they kind of tied up some of the character stuff pretty good. Some feel good moments on the way out for the series as a whole, but that's not what I wanted. So that was all right. The writing for some of the characters' endings was all right, but man, the third act, like the final scorched earth thing, was one of the biggest disappointments that I have had in a TV show in a while. And it's just yet kind of another series that I've really enjoyed that just pittered out in the last couple of seasons and had a very unsatisfying finale. And it feels like it keeps coming down to budget, focusing efforts on spinoffs early. Like, I don't know what is the combination of it, but yeah, overall, when this finale ended, the credits hit, I was very disappointed. Credits hit, and I was like, damn, wow, really? That's what we went. That's what I watched all that disgusting stuff for, huh? Was that conclusion? All right, I'm glad I watched the penis explode among other disgusting things, just to see that. Yeah, I was fairly disappointed, Andy.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned 3 minutes that it was over and you're disappointed, because you are the authority on that. So it was good.
Exactly.
Good to know that you felt, you know what it feels like now. So yeah, but let's be serious for a minute here. To me, it was bad. The whole episode was shocking. From setting everything up to the amount of involvement from everyone, because there were so many leaks going into the final episode as well from the previous episode about what was actually going to happen. And I don't normally like to try and read these things, but I couldn't help myself, because I was like, they got so much to fit in. You know, was Soldier Boy going to be back or not? Because obviously the heavy rumor that he wasn't going to be, and then Eric Kripke had apparently come out and said, of course he's going to be back. You know, we wouldn't just leave that one hanging in the air, and stuff like that. So yeah, just even the final battle for me did nothing. Like, and then to spend the last 20 minutes just on like the boys and their situation, to give far more of them, as we're going to get into it again, but like a happy ending than maybe a lot of them deserved. It was, you guys know me, I prefer the death over happy endings sort of scenario. So it makes me sick to think that so many of them actually survived this, when that should never have been the case. So we've got a lot to get into for it, but I mean, let's just start with the disappointing cameos of Gen V, because we got built them up through 2 seasons of Gen V. Like the soup virus all came from Gen V as well. And then they're built up, and they obviously joined the Starlighters at the end of season 2 of Gen V. And then we get fuck all payoff from it, to be honest. So, you know, we basically get a couple of scenes with them, and it's not until episode 6 and 7 that it happens. And like, me and Dave saw the meme where they were like, they reported that Marie Moreau was going to make have a key role to play in the finale. So I was like, yeah, she turned the key in the car that took them to Canada. So that kind of just about sums it up really for their involvement. So, Lub, your thoughts on the lack of involvement of Gen V characters after having built them up to play an important role?
Did Kripke say something about they changed their plans where they were more involved, and then he like switched it around? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Like,
no. It feels like he didn't even bother to watch Gen V.
Right.
He said she'd have a key role. There was never like, actually, by the way, don't expect Marie to show up. Like,
and they like, she has like the perfect set of powers that could have killed Homelander. And I know way more people watch The Boys than Gen V, so you have to like slowly introduce her throughout the season. She could have been a part of the squad easily with the rest of the boys. Like, she would have fit in perfectly. She's like one of the most powerful soups out there at the same time. So yeah, like, it felt so pointless. And just to have her like show up and start out, it's like, no, like, we don't need you you're just a kid, you know, you're not ready yet. You're not ready for this. And then she shows up again in the finale and she's like, we got this. You just head across the border to Canada and stay safe over there. And even the Ant woman, I forgot her name, the one who gets small. Yeah. She was so corny in the finale. I didn't like her lines at all. She just like she felt so out of place. So total disappointment from the Gen V perspective.
I mean, Dave, do you think that they kind of felt like maybe they'd given Marie her story sort of full circle by the end of Gen V season 2, and the fact that her whole thing was overcoming Thomas Godolkin, and so therefore she had nothing left to prove, because she'd gone through this sort of thing where she had to go up against Sister Sage planning it with Godolkin, and in the end his power to be able to control other soups, her overcoming that and killing him, was her basically full circle moment, and you didn't feel the need to include her any further?
Absolutely not. I see where I could see where that would be an argument that would be tried to made to explain it. But to me, They announced this year Gen V was canceled, which means they had plans for it to continue. If it was canceled, it was never the series finale of Gen V. They said it was canceled, which means they had further plans. On top of that, Eric Kripke said that Marie would play a critical role, a key role in season 5. They like Andy said, they started the virus. Every single mention of Marie's powers was like, you could be as strong as Homelander. Every time they're talking about her, Homelander is brought up. So no, to me, her ultimate goal wasn't killing Thomas Godolkin. To me, that was her realizing her powers and being like, okay, I can control it now. Now we've got a weapon. Now we've got a weapon who can drive a U-Haul van to save 8 people's lives who are already moronic enough to find themselves in a test group for Homelander becoming Jesus anyways. Do they deserve to be saved? Probably not. They seem pretty damn stupid in the first place. But by all means, let's take one of the most powerful people in the world to drive these morons in a moving van to Canada. Yeah, great. Super satisfying. Glad I watched 2 seasons of that. So no, I don't think that was the plan. I think this was insanely lazy, especially because Marie has the power with blood. She could have literally wiped out the Compound V in Homelander's blood after Kimiko failed to stop him or something like that. Like, it would have been so easy to include her in the finale, into the conclusion of this. And we finally saw her get her powers controlled at the end of Gen V season 2. And then Starlight's bitch ass goes, you can't even control your powers. You can't even light up a room like I can. I can make a room 3 times brighter than you can. Like, oh, sick, dude. We just saw a whole season of Marie honing those powers and being able to control it. She lifted up the person she loves. They didn't explode by controlling her blood. She killed Thomas Godolkin. She did all this incredible stuff. And then Starlight's pathetic ass, who is the least effective superhero in the universe, says, you can't control your powers. You're not going to help us. No, I don't know. The Gen V thing may have pissed me off the most, if you can't tell, from the entire finale, bro. That was just garbage. Like, what was the point? What was the point? I don't know.
JD, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, JD.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
How you doing, bud?
Good day. So good.
Thanks.
So good. I popped in right there with Maria Rambo or whoever the hell. I just wanted to pitch in on that because in the finale, she ends up telling Starlight after they have one little conversation. She's like, you know what they say, you should never meet your heroes, but I'm sure glad I did. Like, she was a huge dick to you the first time we ever spoke, the first time y'all ever spoke. And then it took one little conversation and now you're all googly eyed over Starlight. So that was just so corny in its own way. Either of them.
JD's just working through all the different
you don't
DC Marvel.
Maria
He's called her Stargirl.
Starfire.
I love it.
But yeah, it was a huge disappointment, wasn't it? Just the Gen V involvement in this.
And we were all fans of Marie too, right? Like, you guys all liked her from Gen V.
I mean, she was a bit annoying, Sam. But
yeah,
we didn't even see Sam and Kate in the finale either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Starlight asked for Marie's help 5 times on screen, by the way. 5 different times she asked for her help, and then every time said, we don't need your help. Like, why are we wasting time doing these scenes? Sorry, I had my piece. I'm sorry. I'll back off.
Dave's just too excited about the Gen V situation over there. So yeah, obviously, definitely, yeah, we didn't even get Sam and Kate in there. Just got Blackjack at 3 these. Dave loves
Best
Starlight.
hero of any property. She's great. I love when her face moves when she speaks. That's the best.
Dave.
Wait, did we already talk about her clearly different looking face this season and how ridiculous she looks? She looked completely
yeah, Dave's mentioned it every fucking episode we've done.
Good. I mean, it's just so wild. Come on. There was nothing you needed to change. And now it just throws me off.
That's a personal choice. That's not the boys' choice. Let's leave that to the side because Dave's mentioned it every fucking
don't be
episode.
racist, JD.
Maybe indirectly because people get all crazy when they think about public opinion and they're like, I need Botox. You know, who knows?
Anyway, let's so we the whole situation that we've got at the start of the episode, when obviously the plans for Ascension Day are coming, which they're doing on Easter weekend. We do get a funny moment when you got like old father and Homelander, and they're chatting with the millionaire guy, and he's like, he's in charge of the biggest consortium of rich people in America. You kind of need him if you need the church to work. And he just takes him outside, and Homelander walks out for a minute, comes back, and he's like, "Where did he go?" And he said he was an astronaut, so I just flew him up there. I love little moments like that. It's just kind of like a little unhinged, but they set out the plan.
Clearly Elon too, right? Like that was Elon Musk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
But the boys have their plans set out, so they're going to obviously storm the White House of all places, because they've got all the plans for the secret routes in and stuff like that. And they're basically going to take down Homelander using Kimiko's chest power now. And then, as predicted, we always know how it was going to go down between Butcher and Homelander at that point, but they're trying to break in, and Ashley, of all people, decides that she's going to grow a backbone for once and actually helps them get in before fleeing herself. Ashley, at the end of it, is obviously says that she's not going to step down because she's been, she's the president, but then she gets arrested and just
immediately impeached.
Yeah, immediately impeached, imprisoned, everything. So, just very quickly, what do we reckon to the end of Ashley's story in this? Because I fully expected her to be killed still throughout this season. I'm kind of shocked that she made it all the way through to the end. Anyone? No?
Yeah. 100%. She was, dude. I started rewatching season 1 because of how disappointing season 5 was, and I wanted to be reminded of like why I fell in love with the show initially. And Ashley's in season 1, and I forgot she got fired like 6 episodes in. I totally forgot. She was gone for like half the season. She got fired and somehow came back, then ended up leading Vought, then ended up being the vice president, and then ended up being the president, and then somehow survived it all. So yeah, I think Ashley had one of the most unexpected conclusions. I absolutely thought she was getting killed among the rest in season 4, and then she shot up the Gen V, and she was such a goofball, but she made a lot of solid survival choices throughout the series.
Yeah. I really liked her character. She was one of the funnier characters throughout the show too. In this episode, she says, Homelander would rip my tits out through my vag. So she had a lot of funny lines. Her and Oh Father were also pretty funny with the things they were saying back and forth. So I'm glad she survived. It was weird at times, but also funny at times. It could be both. But I'm glad she made it out. It was surprising, I guess.
Remind me, did she end up as president? No, sorry.
That's what I was just going to ask.
Singer ended up.
So
but what was her conclusion?
So she basically said that she was not going to stand down as president after all this, but she immediately got impeached, arrested.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. All right. Yeah. Gotcha.
And I forgot, are they doing more boys spinoffs that are going to take place after this? I know we're going back to the Soldier Boy days, but are we moving forward in the timeline with spinoffs supposedly?
The Boys Mexico is planned. It's going to have some returning characters, although it won't have most of the main characters from The Boys in it, and it is going to explore the state of things on the planet post season 5 for superheroes. So there's going to be some new characters. There'll be a couple of returning ones, but it's set after season 5, so it is a continuation.
Yeah, let's keep Ashley coming in, dude. She's like a cockroach. She never dies. She's always crawling around. Give us more Ashley. She was hilarious.
Dude, it's wild? She's younger than us, which, no offense, I'm sorry, Colby. I forgot her last name. I don't know. She's like 3 years younger than us, and I would never have guessed that. I probably didn't need to say that. She was a good actress. That just blew my mind this year when I looked up and was like, what? Like, I don't know. She
immediate regret.
I agree.
It's probably super rude. Sorry, Colby. You're a wonderful person, I'm sure, but
wait. So you're saying that she's 39? That's a bit rude of you, Dave.
She's like 30. It's wild. Which means she was like 25 when the show started. She did not look like a 25-year-old. I shouldn't be going. Why am I continuing this? Andy?
Why are you focusing on her age, Dave?
She's cool. She's not. It's not like she's like Starlight.
It's the head poking out behind you.
Okay, moving on. So they infiltrate the White House, and And apart from the fact that we obviously should give a mention, first of all, again, to that situation where it's like the fake Elon Musk with O-Father and Homelander, and then the Deep appears and gets absolutely torn down by Homelander. And he's like, the only reason you're still alive is because I want you to feel it in the depths of your soul how absolutely fucking useless you are. Which is a bad burn in a way to tear you down. But then as the boys infiltrate the White House, Starlight's like, I'll step up and take on the Deep. And immediately, despite the fact her not knowing his situation with all the fish and everything, and mammals and everything in the ocean, that they don't want him in the ocean because they will kill him because they think it was responsible for the pipeline disaster, immediately she flies him to the beach to fight him by the water. Which is, if you don't know that that's his situation and think he's the Lord of the Seven Seas, his whole thing is being in the water and being able to speak to the animals and fight in the water and have super strength. You then fly him to the beach to fight him. So, an inexplicable move there again in the writing of that situation. But they have a bit of a fight. She knocks him into the water and then he gets killed off by a giant octopus. So... Also, it makes it very strange in the fact that he seemed to be drowning at some point, but I think they forgot from like season 1 or 2, he has gills on his fucking stomach.
He was swimming very slow as well. I thought he could
so
swim
slow. So slow, dude.
I thought that was his thing.
He was like a step away from doggy paddling in the water.
Right.
So
I cast messed him up.
I think along with Black Noir's death in the previous week or two, whatever it was, this is the most underwhelming death for a main character in the show. Because it was fucking stupid, taking him to the beach to fight and then throwing him in the water where he's struggling, he's slow, can't seem to breathe properly, and then gets pegged in the mouth by an octopus, which has already been proven, no matter the size of the octopus, they can't penetrate human skin. I'm just landing some factual stuff on the line there, some scientific facts.
Let alone superhuman skin, like durable, extra strong. Like, how did a sea creature kill him that quick? Like, that part, and it looked like a kraken-sized octopus, which they just happened to be chilling by the beach 10 feet away. Apparently, that whole sea thing felt so forced. It was just like, how did they kill him that quick? He's a superhuman strength. How are fish killing him? Like, they're fish. They're not. Or do they have Gen V in their system? Like, I don't know. I don't understand that. Yeah, Gen V.
Do they have Gen V?
We got to bring it in somehow.
Dude, at first, before that happened, that was awful. But I was really happy to see them come full circle and give us Starlight versus the Deep. Because in season 1, she sucked him off to stay on the team. So at first I was really, really pumped about that, to just see her finally get her revenge on the Deep, but then it ended like that. So that sucked. But the first part, man, I was really happy to see that. For a finale, that felt like the right way to go. Give us that character closure between those two. The way it started, that made sense. And was definitely hoping for Starlight to be the one to actually kill him. And not any of that sea stuff that made no sense. But you didn't have to do that. Why can't you just have Starlight kill his ass after whooping his ass after a couple minutes of brawling? Because that would have been really cool. But then they went all weird with it.
She's incapable of killing anybody because all she does is flashbang people.
She doesn't.
But I like the decision. It was a good full circle, like you said. Like, have Starlight and the Deep face off at the end. Like, that makes sense. But I just didn't like the execution.
Yeah,
absolutely fair. Then we move on to the death of O-Father, which...
I'm sorry. We didn't say the funniest line, where he goes, why do you continue to slave after Homelander? He wouldn't even piss on you if you're on fire. And he goes, I'm his right-hand bro. He'd piss on me whenever I want. I'm sorry, I had to throw that line. That was an all-time line.
For being a dumb character, he obviously says some of the funniest things. So that was absolutely fair. The death of O-Father, which Ashley kind of contributes to, because they decide to obviously separate out in the fact, so Huey and Mother's Milk sort of try and distract O-Father, and Huey does an impression of Butcher, fucking diabolical, which he reviewed in an interview. They actually, the producers made him record a video and saying, can you do an impression of Butcher? So he had to record himself doing an impression of Butcher and sent it to them because they wanted to include this line, but only if he could do it properly. They didn't want it to be like a dubbed line. So the fact that he had to send a video to the producers of him doing a Butcher impression, they went, that's pretty damn good, actually. We can use that. And so they wrote that whole line in just for him to do that impression.
That's funny.
And they obviously lower him, and he's about to use his like voice thing on them, and then Mother's Milk whips out the titanium ball gag that they had lying around that Ashley had given him, and uses that to reverberate his voice back into his head and explode his head. Love, were you loving this scene? Did it bring back memories of your youth?
The baby. No, that was a satisfying ending. That was for sure. Father's a freak. He's a freak in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So he deserved to go out like that. And I thought he was gonna wise up a little bit, because when him and Ashley were talking back and forth, she was like trying to get the Bashley, as I guess what it says in the captions, to like read his mind to see if he's really still full on Homelander, if he's like having doubts as well. And like I think like deep down he did think like this was not the right way to go, but he knew if he turned his back against Homelander, he would die as well. So he's like, all right, I'm just going down with the ship. So he had to go.
And it's interesting as well, because it's kind of the reverse of the comic book situation, because in the comic book he's the one that leads a massive team of supes against Homelander at the White House. So they kind of reversed him up for the TV series and made him like obviously on Homelander's side, as opposed to being the guy that wants to take Homelander down and lead all the other supes in that charge. So
that makes sense.
But JD, any thoughts on O'Father and his untimely death?
I didn't like O'Father really at all, so I was happy to see him die. I thought they had more plans with him. I thought he and Ashley, as they were kind of discussing, like Ashley was trying to turn him a little bit against Homelander, and it felt for a second like, oh wait, what if he is actually just like playing this role he thinks he has to, and Ashley's almost going to get through to him, but instead she kind of goes back to the role of supporting Homelander, and then so does he, and then they're both kind of doing their play. For a second, I thought they were going to do a lot more with him. The only reason I like him is like how there's the commentary on what does the state do to manipulate religion and stuff, and what do they do to steer people on the path that they want them to follow towards consumerism and all this shit. How do they make that turn religion into something impure? And I thought they using him, they kind of studied that really well. But yeah, I'm glad to see him die. He kind of sucked.
Yeah, that's fair.
He was like the embodiment of the mega church in America. Like he was like the symbol of the mega church, like just the insanely rich pastors who were just manipulating everything and just are just scumbags in their real life day to day. But I felt like it was another character. I don't know, man. Season 2, we got Stormfront, which I thought she was a very interesting character and brought a lot to the table as far as action and scenes went. Season 3, Soldier Boy came into the picture among a couple others, which was obviously great. And then season 4, we got Firecracker and Sister Sage, with both sucked for me. And then season 5, we got O'Father. And I think there was another main character they brought in, but it was just another underwhelming character for me as far as we're wrapping up the series, and we brought in another Ezekiel, and O'Father had a lot of screen time in this season. Like for the final season, he had a fair amount of screen time and storytelling going. So yeah, I thought that was a waste of time, but his death scene was satisfying for sure. That was a good way of sending him out.
And then we get Homelander addressing the nation, telling obviously everyone about the fact that he is ascending, he's taking his rightful place as a god, and obviously this is interrupted by Butcher and Kimiko thrashing into the Oval Office. And I've already said the line that he brings, so I won't repeat it for sensitive ears. But it was a classic Butcher moment, especially since it never made, like, I didn't think about this until after the show, and the fact that he goes into the obviously White House with a crowbar on his shoulder. I'm like, you've got the venom parasite. Why do you need a crowbar? Like, what is that of use for you? And then I remembered that there's a couple of shots from the comic book where he walks up to the White House completely by himself with obviously a crowbar on his shoulder. So big kick out again to the comic book stuff, which they haven't exactly followed to the letter here, as we know. But it was still good to see them showing some love to the comic book anyway, and the fact that just showing him walking with the crowbar emanating that scene from the comic. So that was quite good. But he walks in. He's like, Daddy's home. And then he gives the same speech to Homelander that Homelander gave him before. Thinking about scorched earth, blood and bone, and all that stuff. And you think, cool, we're going to be in for the big final battle here. Let's get into it. JD, what did you make of this final battle between Homelander we'll just talk about the fight first before we get to like the end bit of the fight. So obviously Kimiko, Homelander, Butcher, and then surprisingly Ryan. I mean, or maybe not surprisingly, but he sort of just comes out of nowhere and joins the fight as well. So there's 3-on-1 situation. What did you make of it all?
Didn't necessarily land for me. It felt kind of weird, especially the amount of time Kamiko was off to the side, like recovering when she should have been blasting Homelander. There was a couple moments I didn't like how it was shot or executed, but it's like she was like it's like she wasn't down and out. She was down there kneeling and they were just brawling as she's just like on one knee. It's like it felt like a anime to me, like the way that some characters just sit there and like power up for a while, and while other people are having a conversation and other people are fighting over here. And I didn't like that it was just Homelander and Kamiko versus, or Butcher and Kamiko versus Homelander. Kind of wanted a more team-oriented takedown of Homelander and killing him after taking away his you take away his powers, so you're able to kill him. I was all good with that, but I just didn't really like how they did it. I liked his speech. I liked addressing the nation the way he did. And it does make sense because this whole freaking show was about Billy Butcher wanting to kill Homelander. But something about it really just didn't land. Except when Ryan showed up, that made it a little more exciting. That was really cool. Which, by the way, and I'm not Ryan's screen time in any season, not my favorite. Didn't love a lot of Ryan stuff, but what he told Homelander in the beginning of this episode just completely tells him off in every way you wanted to hear Homelander be told off. And that was my favorite line scene ever, by his own son, while Homelander's becoming a little vulnerable and wanting to be a father, and then he just shoves it all in his face. So that was satisfying. And then having him come back to disrupt the fight and help Butcher and Kamiko win. This is my favorite Ryan stuff, even though that fight was not worthy of the Boys series finale, was not worthy of Homelander's last fight. Ryan made it a lot cooler than it was.
Dave, your opinions and thoughts on the fight, because we're going to discuss the losing of power and death in a minute.
Yeah. Great intro. Like I said, him walking in, dropping the line, and Anthony Starr's acting when he sees Butcher stroll in, and that face where it was just like comfort. It was like a home cooked meal, kind of just, there's Butcher. There's the guy who makes my life worth living. So I thought that was great. That was great. And then we kick into the fight. And as soon as we start going, it just felt like, I don't know, man. It just felt none of the power scaling made sense. The choreography was very lazy. In the Herogasm scenes, I enjoyed it. We felt the power in their punches and everything. But it kind of just feels like every fight now is just everybody takes turns loading up the most dramatic punch and punching them, and they don't block it and they let themselves get punched and then they punch them back. And it's getting a little vanilla after a while, where it's just them punching each other in the face, taking turns like we're in the Revolutionary War and everybody's reloading their muskets. So kind of goofy there. A lot of power scaling things didn't make sense. He literally cut Kamiko in half in the same season. And now all of a sudden his blasts are just pushing her back. And so apparently he can't hold an optical blast for longer than 2 seconds at a time. He's only able to do little punches with it now. He can't hold it, even though he just injected himself with V1 and should be incredibly powerful at this point and just raging, especially because he knows Kamiko could take his powers away, which is the entire premise of his character, which are his powers. So this man sees somebody who can take his powers away, and we see one of the weakest performances we've seen of him. He flew Elon Musk to space and back in 2.5 seconds, but every time he tries to fly away in the room, it's like he's grabbing onto a cable that's attached to a kite that's flying away, and he's just hoping to God that a wind picks up and pulls him out of the room. And then when he takes Butcher into the roof and drops him, does he fly away? No, he just hangs out. And once Ryan shows up, we got the apparent fact of like, he's like, okay, screw it. I'm pissed. My son turned on me. I'm going to kill all you. So then he sticks around, which I can live with that one. But there were just so many opportunities where it was not convincing that he couldn't have just flown away, especially after we got that exact scene in Herogasm. So it just all came again down to felt like lazy writing, and half of this epic third act was Kamiko seeing Frenchie dead and using the power of love to stop Homelander. So it was not satisfying. The later at the end of this, how this wrapped up, satisfying. But everything getting to that point, not at all for me. Felt super lazy.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It just felt lazy. The fight itself just wasn't satisfying. Like, I agree with JD. This is the point where I keep calling this at the end of every season of every show, where I expect a team up to go on of like everyone versus everyone, and it just doesn't seem to happen. I keep calling it at the end of every season of Daredevil. I keep calling it at the end of every season of The Boys, and it just doesn't seem to materialize. So I've got to stop saying that that's what's going to go down. But that's the only thing here that would have felt satisfying. Because as we know, this has been a wash with the whole, like Dave correctly, I think, said last week when we did the previous episodes, that how this episode was not called Scorched Earth, I will never know. And the promotion material that they showed before and throughout the season of like Homelander looking down at space and it looks like a nuke's gone off, or Butcher walking past a destroyed Vought tower. This is what we were expecting, and we got this instead. You know, I could tickle my balls and feel like it was a more choreographed fight than what we got on screen. The only thing I say to defend it is the fact that the way that Homelander acted is that everyone says that because he now got V1 that he should be incredibly powerful. That's not what the V1 did for Homelander, because he already had powers. All it did was make him immortal. It didn't give him a super power up. It didn't increase the level of his abilities. It just made him become immortal instead. So that's the one thing I've been assessing online, people, is like, it's not the fact that he now should have been... He was already pretty much the most powerful suit on Earth. So it wasn't a case that it increased his skin strength or his eye beams or his physical strength. It just the fact that it now made him immortal. That was the only thing on that. So that's the only thing I can say to defend that. But Lub, your thoughts on that battle?
Well, with what you just said, they shouldn't have shown him do that big blast after he was shot with the V1, because that kind of made it seem like, oh shit, Homelander's on another level now. So maybe that was just him like exploding with V1 one time. But I'll play devil's advocate for a second. I think Kimiko is a lot more powerful now after the radiation than she was previously in the season with her new powers. So maybe she can withstand the lasers a little bit more.
That's what I assumed, to be fair. Yeah, she's a bit more resistant to damage now as opposed to where she was like at the start of this season.
And they did that in like 24 hours compared to Soldier Boy getting that done over like 20 years, and they exactly replicated the same exact power that Soldier Boy got.
Well, I mean, it does explain it in the episode, Dave, but they didn't get the most intelligent person on Earth to work out the formula to how it was done, as opposed to a bunch of dumb Russians trying to work out every 20 years.
Just seemed pretty convenient, one more thing, is all I'm saying.
Dave was talking about how Homelander could just fly away. And yes, he could always just fly away, but it is the finale, and there's like 15 minutes left, and we're just going to, Homelander flies away. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's obvious, but like, the show does have to end, and he could always just fly away.
I was surprised.
Just make it convincing is all.
Yeah.
I did think he would fly away at some point, and they would obviously just chase after him, and it would just continue the fight somewhere else. Yeah, maybe they go back to Vought Tower or something, and it would happen there, sort of thing. So, But then we do get this very predictable, disgusting trope. When Kimiko starts having the visions of Frenchie, and basically, we don't win, we don't defeat what we hate.
Friendship.
Yeah, it's fucking Star Wars: The Last Jedi and Rose and Finn all over again, isn't it? It's like we don't win by destroying what we hate, we win by saving what we love. And it's like, oh my god, let me just stick my fingers down my throat and become bulimic for a minute. It's just disgusting. It was not needed whatsoever. Lub, your thoughts on this grotesque version?
Well, my wife turned to me and goes, "How long has she been standing there with this vision? Was it like kind of like one of those things where it was like a split second in real time, but it was like 20 seconds in her mind? Because she's just standing there for like 20 seconds, like 10 feet in front of Homelander, just like totally zonked out in another world. So it was a little weird. I feel like it could have been like quicker, just like Frenchie's back, like don't be so angry, like, you're a good person, you have it in you can do this, and then just go away. But like it was so long where it's like, is she just standing there like zoning out in the middle of a fight?
Like Homelander and Ryan and Butcher stood there holding Homelander. They're like, why the fuck is she just staring into the distance? We can't hold him for much longer, for fuck's sake. And then she finally blasts him. Powers have gone. Butcher loses his power as well. Even though Butcher says in the episode that Ryan lost his powers as well, it has been confirmed since that Ryan did not lose his powers because he is the only natural born soup in the boys' universe.
Really?
So therefore, he did not lose his powers because he didn't have compound V in his blood, just like the others. So he has organic or biological compound V, which is a different composition. So therefore, it wasn't fried out of his system.
Did they say that? Because I thought Butcher told him, like, now that we're powerless, let's go live a normal
Butcher
life.
says
or
that in the
something.
episode, but then the producers confirmed afterwards that he still has his powers. Yeah.
Interesting. So he'll be in the boys then, clearly.
So they basically said that, like, there's no telling how powerful he become because he has the powers of Homelander, and it's naturally they don't have a way to depower him, so to speak, like the others.
Shouldn't that have been similar with Homelander since he was born naturally, though they impregnated somebody with compound V, but he was born naturally with powers,
Well,
right?
no, he wasn't. They injected him when he was a fetus. So slightly different, but it's still part of his system that he has.
Oh, when he was a fetus. Okay, I was going to say, because he rose out of the mother and killed her while he was being born. So he had powers when he was born, but okay, so they injected him as a fetus. Interesting.
Yeah, so it was after like three months of when the fetus was 3 months old, they started injecting it into him when he was a fetus.
On top of Soldier Boy's DNA already.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Didn't know that. And in that part with Ryan, I was just curious. That's not a gripe of mine at all. I just wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then obviously Homelander's depowered. He starts off by doing his fun little jumps.
No, the
so
eye
funny.
thing first. He did the laser blast, and Butcher kind of flinched and then realized and gave him that little smile, like the little head nod smile, like, oh, buddy. Like that was great. That was great.
And just doing, because imagine that's how he jumps normally when they then do the CGI for it later on. It's just always like,
it's like he's diving into a pool every time he takes off, but when he doesn't, it really looks just absolutely stupid.
oh. And then he instantly becomes this sniveling, groveling little bitch where he offers to suck Butcher's dick and to eat his shit if he doesn't kill him. Yeah, we'll get onto that in a sec. But then, and then he turns around and he's like, "You can't do this to me. I'm the Homelander." And then he sticks a crowbar in his head and yanks off the top of his skull and his brain.
That was nice. That was nice.
All whilst being done, as it turns out, on live TV, because Butcher turns around, sees the camera on the floor still live, and he's like, But JD, what did we think of the sniveling, groveling Homelander before finally being put out of his misery?
And that was their way to just show what a pathetic piece of shit he is without his powers. That's like all that was. And yeah, it felt a little far talking about the details of what he will do to get him to get on Billy Butcher's good side there, or stay alive or anything. But that's just what the whole thing was. And they go far with everything. They go so far. So they were just trying to show us really quickly, and we all knew it, but exactly how pathetic he was without his powers.
Right.
I mean, Dave, which way do you fall on this? Because I've seen people in both camps go, this is exactly what Homelander would do. He'd turn around and be groveling and stuff, and do whatever he could to stay alive without his powers. And then there's another camp that I've seen where everyone was like, Homelander would kind of accept that what his fate is about to be, kind of like he maybe did it in the last couple of seconds when he's like, "I'm the Homelander," sort of way. But he would have done that the whole time and just still sort of been his superior self and gone, I know what's coming. I can't change that now, but just remember that I used to be able to fuck you guys up, sort of thing. So, which way do you think really should have? I mean, they did a mix of the two in the end, but would you have preferred one or the other?
Yeah, they did a mix, and look, I get a lot of the main defenses coming out is a couple of them is one being anybody who didn't like the show is clearly rooting for Homelander to win. It's like no, I wasn't rooting for him to win. I was just rooting for a more satisfying end to him and like seeing the scorched earth and his power being unleashed before he stopped and brutally killed, because I love the crowbar scene. So that's my problem isn't that Homelander didn't win. It's the way that it rolled out. And I see the main defense being, Homelander's always been shown to be a weak, sniveling child without his powers. A-Train says it. A lot of people say it throughout the
Soldier
show.
Boy.
Yeah, he could have escaped
Ryan.
as a kid, but he stayed because he wants approval and love more than anything. So that's what we got. A dude who just disappeared, but like, that's not what I stuck around for. Like, I wanted scorched earth, crazy Homelander, and then him being defeated, not immediately just sniveling Homelander and seeing that aspect. I don't think that's what I was watching 5 seasons for. So I get kind of the argument too that he's always been that little weak sniveling child, but I don't know. Yeah, it just felt a little forced, and I felt like I'm glad he at least tried to throw a punch before he started offering to eat his shit on live TV. But yeah, it felt a little much, and I just felt they kind of skipped over the satisfying parts to the conclusion very fast with Homelander.
Dude, so true. You really wanted to see Homelander unleash with all that power and all the V1, and he's president, and I was going to lose it and take all that out on society, and we never got that. And it was the finale of The Boys, which, like I just said, they take everything so far, but they didn't let Homelander just unleash on society, which that would have been such a satisfying and epic way to conclude this series finale. Just let him go off, the way he did. Like, I'm pretty sure the way he imagined himself lasering that crowd of people in that one episode,
right?
But that, times 100, he's president, he's going to take it all out on the world, and then the heroes are going to come defeat him. That would have been the way to go,
right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Like, Homelander took out the president, he took out Elon Musk, he took out Firecracker.
Great.
But like, the body count definitely wasn't high enough for what we were expecting, right? Like what JD said, he should have gone into the room of like the people watching the live feed and just like lasered all the non-believers or something, and then we would feel a little bit more satisfied, I guess, with Homelander's end. Like, he actually did a little scorched earth. We don't want him to go too far and take out, all of New York City or whatever, but but they did do a good job of setting up.
Yeah.
Kind of, though. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But they did do a good job of setting up with, like Dave said, with A-Train, Soldier Boy, and Ryan, all kind of giving them their real thoughts on him in their final like dialogue with each other.
Yeah. And then we get to the final act, so to speak, because this fight finishes and Homelander's killed, and you're like, we've still got like 15-20 minutes of this episode to go, so what else could they possibly happen? So we see the boys sort of relaxing afterwards. Butcher and Ryan have the chat where Butcher's like, we can go off, we can start fresh. It's kind of, I think that's what your mum would have wanted. And Ryan's like, thanks for everything that you've done for me, but I don't want to stay with you. I don't want to be anywhere near you. It just reminds me of everything, and I don't like you, to be honest, either. So I want to go off and do my own thing.
With mother's milk.
Yeah, well, that's why it turns out.
He wants to hang out with MM.
He wants to hit his daughter.
Yeah.
And then so Butcher's reading from that and just thinking that maybe he can go off and do his thing, and then Terra's the dog has passed away.
That was so random.
Yeah,
so unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. I mean, I thought originally it was a tribute to the fact that the actual real life dog passed away at the end of filming as well, and I didn't know whether they changed that to go in, but I don't think they did, because I think it was like a couple of months after they finished filming that the Terra had passed away, so I didn't know if they changed that post filming to do that. But it just seemed to think that once Terra passed away, he'd lost Ryan, Terra's gone, he felt like he had nothing left to live for, and remembered his final mission wasn't just to kill Homelander, it was to kill all Supes. So he steals the virus, goes to Vought Tower, puts it into the sprinkler system, and is waiting for everyone to come to work for the day so he can unleash it on the world. Obviously Huey works this out, goes chasing after him, and we sort of get a final fight between them before, predictably, Huey's the one that ends Butcher. So, Lub, your thoughts on that situation and the final passing of the biggest character of the show?
It worked for me. Well, the Butcher with the losing the dog and losing Ryan, like, Butcher was going to do that no matter what. That's just who he is. Totally. He was going to go and take all the Supes out no matter what happened. So they didn't really need to kill the dog off. But the conversation between Huey and Butcher, it's kind of like the first two characters from season 1. He's talking about, I'm your canary, I'm your Lenny. And, Butcher kind of denies it at first, but then he sees Huey as Lenny. And he was going to, he took his finger off the trigger right as he shot him too. So I don't know exactly what was going to happen there, but maybe he did have a little, last thoughts, change his mind. But it was a good moment. Like, I didn't tear up, I didn't cry, but I definitely felt like sad for losing Butcher. So it landed.
Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the terror stuff was unnecessary. Like Lub said, I think the motivation was already there. We've been building 5 seasons off of that motivation. So I don't think his dog needed to die for him to still want to complete his mission. The Ryan thing, I think, was enough. Like, he could still hang out with Terror after he kills the superheroes. Like, I don't know. To me, it was just like, why are we killing dogs, Eric Kripke? Exploding penises, you're killing dogs, you sick bastard, way to go. Like, good job. I don't know. What it just felt so unnecessary. In the comics, Black Noir kills Terror. And this is in the midst of Billy continuing to build up his motivation to wipe out and release the virus and yada, yada, yada. So it felt like they just tried to be like, well, Terror died in the comics. Let's do it here for motivation. But they didn't sell it on me in the show that he needed Terror to die to continue this rampage he was going on. Past that, although predictable, I thought it was a good ending. It is how the comics rolls out too, with Huey shooting Butcher. So it was very predictable to what I expected, but it was one of the few things in the finale where I was like, they did that good. That worked for me. The only thing that didn't work for me in that, other than Terror, was, isn't the virus still in the sprinkler system? So like, if there's a fire in Vought Tower, what are we doing there? Because Butcher said it was already released in the sprinkler system, and it felt like the trigger was just going to set off the sprinkler system. But maybe I don't know. Maybe
I'm guessing that as soon as he killed Butcher on his way out, he tells Stan Edgar,
evacuate
the virus is
building
in the virus is in the sprinkler system. You better go and sort that out. But
yeah, that's an easy one to wrap up.
JD.
Yeah, man, it was hard. You know, you don't want to see freaking friends fighting to the death, but that was Billy's motivation from the very, very beginning of season 1. That was the path that he was led on. And it was pretty Romeo and Juliet almost when, you know, he did decide to listen to Huey at that end. That's how I took it. He decided he wasn't going to go through with this, but Huey was already pointing his way and took the shot. So pretty sad, but also pretty appropriate for the boys. Like I've said for the third time, they take it really far. They definitely don't pull their punches. And I guess that is how the comics ended. I didn't know, but I guess that's how that goes. Super, not heartbreaking like I was getting emotional about it, but I was sad to see them fight. I was sad to see Billy get offed right when he made the decision to kind of listen to Huey. He wasn't going to go through with it. So super appropriate for the boys, but it worked. It totally worked, you know, as far as character endings and kind of pulling on your heartstrings a little bit. But it makes sense for the boys, right?
Right. And
I guess so.
And Butcher was right, though. He says right before he dies, like, this is the only way it could have ended. Like, yeah, maybe I didn't pull the trigger now, but in, 2 months from now, something's going to piss me off and I'm going to do it again. So, but were you going to talk about, Andy, like, Butcher's, do we agree with Butcher? Do all soups need to be killed? Will there be another Homelander, or can we trust...
In this universe,
can we trust Stan Edgar to run Vought well a second time?
No.
Hell no.
Like, what are we doing? They're the ones who created Homelander in the first place. Vought existed before Homelander showed up. Killing Homelander, and Stan Edgar's like, Vought's learned a lot from this, and we're taking steps. It's like, so we left the beast alive and killed the puppet. That should do it for at least another 15 years until we have to redo all this shit again. Like, yeah, that part too was like, I saw a meme and it was like Huey sleeping soundly as Vought is making Homelander 2.0, and it's a little meme of like Donald Duck in his bed, and it's just like, yeah, great. Like, what did we solve? We're back to just like a few seasons before, or a few years before season 1 now. Great.
Like in Marvel and DC, they make that argument, and you could take either side. But in the boys' universe, like, there's no argument against it. They all just stopped making superheroes. It did not go well for anybody. The people who you think are saving you are really fucked up in the head, and season 1 showed us that in a really genius way. But like, they can't
all the
have
good
superheroes
though. What about all the good?
They
ones?
only needed to exist because of Vought. You know,
Kamiko, come on.
Without Vought, you don't need it.
A-Train's dead. Starlight is pregnant and saving the world, I guess. Great. Huey and Starlight reproduce. That's great. And then Kamiko's out there, but I guess she's still got power too, but she's not going to do anything. She's out in France. So who are the good superheroes left? Dognot's weird. Dognot and Catgirl, who got the most screen time in the last penultimate and finale of the entire total character count. They're still out there sniffing each other's asses, among other freaks. And I don't know. There's so many perverted heroes still out there, with Stan Edgar still leading the front. Did we solve anything for more than 2 decades, or is this just rinse and repeat.
So what I do love about this series is that they take their social media in our world quite seriously, because there's a Vought Instagram account that acts as if it is obviously in the boys' world. So they, like, the Vought Instagram account put out a statement saying that they saw the shocking live stream of Homelander's demise, and they do not agree with what Homelander was trying to do in terms of taking over the country. They're separating themselves as far as possible away from Homelander's actions, because they had nothing to do with that. They say that we're glad that our CIA could step in and stop him, which was another brilliant comment. And they said that we're now working with the Department of Defense to make sure that this country remains safe. So I expect there to be more. Even though the boys is going to Mexico, apparently that's where they're going to
Right.
You know, you expect Vought to still play a heavy part in this, because maybe a lot of superheroes flee to Mexico, and that's why it's set in Mexico. Because maybe the Americans don't want them there anymore after all that situation, and they're like, no, let's bugger them off, and they flee to Canada and Mexico and stuff, and a few are left in America. Maybe we'll obviously have to wait and see what happens on that front, but. To conclude this episode, we do get the happy ending for everyone. So, as Dave said, Kimiko fucks off to Marseille to want a Frenchie, and is just sit there in a nice little cafe eating some croissants and sandwiches and shit.
Croissants.
Croissants.
Oh, sorry,
Croissants.
It's called
Thank
croissants,
you.
bro.
I didn't
Read
even
an
know that
inch
one.
ruler.
Oh man, I dropped my croissant. Croissants, as they're called properly. She's munching on some of that, and then Mother's Milk adopts Ryan, which is a conversation that the Butcher had with him in season 2. So it's nice to see that he did follow through with that still. And he obviously joins up with his wife and his kid.
Yeah.
And then obviously we find sort of the very callback to season 1. Huey and Annie have opened up an electric shop, which how that works with Annie when she affects electricity, I don't fucking know, because she could short out the whole fucking shop so easily. A little
Break
bit of
all the TVs.
bit of a pregnancy scare and a bit of Twitch, a bit of Braxton Hicks or something, and before you know it, fucking all the TVs are blowing up in the shop. But turns out she's pregnant again, and they're listening to the police scanner, and some shit's going down, and she's like, I'll go and help. And so she flies up into the air and fucks off to help, and immediately the G-force kills the fetus. So that's
That can't be safe. That can't be safe.
That's going to be a very sad loss for them when they find out that it's going to be stillbirth. So everyone gets these characters anyway got their fucking happy endings, which makes me want to vomit, to be honest. So JD, you're a family man, give me your happy-go-lucky thoughts on the ending here.
You're a family man.
I don't know, man. It like wrapped the bow up pretty well. Sure. This is not my least favorite season. This is not my least favorite finale, I don't think. But like, it felt pretty basic. I would just say basic is the right kind of word for the finale of this series, which The Boys is everything but basic. So like, it kind of just like wrapped it up too tightly. It wrapped up the bow too nicely, and it didn't really feel like worthy of finishing off the whole entire Boys series. So although I did like this, because I like how this season was more focused on Butcher and Homelander and the crew. Not a lot of side characters, not a lot of side stories. It was really direct, and I appreciated that about the season. But it still just felt just kind of Walmart brand, kind of too quick, too easy, too basic, and that's kind of what I got.
Dave, your thoughts on a happy ending?
Yeah,
and then
man.
give us your thoughts on the show as well.
Yeah, so I'm an emotional guy. I cry during certain series and movies if it's written well. I feel like I'm pretty in touch with my feelings. Even Stranger Things may be a little emotional towards the end of it. These endings didn't really hit me at all. They were nice. I mean, even though they recast this whole family again for the third time in 5 seasons. Because I just watched season 1, and both of the family members were totally different from season 3 and 4, and then season 5 was different. But it was fine. But like, to me, there was a defense with Stranger Things. Like, we had a nice ending, although it was dark and got into horror a little bit. It was still overall kind of like a Goonies style, somewhat family friendly show. So the ending kind of made sense and was more acceptable. doesn't work with me for the boys, because this show is not that at all. This show is disgusting and depraved and totally over the top and unnecessary with deaths and other stuff. So for them to like switch gears and be like, everybody's got a happy ending and oh, this is beautiful. It was just like, I don't know. I remember a day when we were all waiting for the show to have an insane finale with crazy death and destruction, and then Homelander being defeated and all that. And it felt like we just got like the middle school edited PG version of that to end the whole thing. Like the majority of the season was filled with Jesus propaganda for Homelander instead of him going scorched earth, which it was just like, all right, for little bits, it's funny. But like when the majority of the last 2 episodes were like Jesus propaganda, it was like, is this what we were building up to? So I don't know. Yeah, the happy endings didn't work for me. Singer, I don't get how he's president again. He literally was caught on camera plotting to kill his vice president. So how the hell is he the first position to bring back into the presidency after all this happens? All the wrap-ups just didn't like land for me. And I do want to say at the end of it all, Black Noir 2, the fake Black Noir, caused more worldwide destruction than Homelander did at the end. And that is a very, very sad statement to make as far as that goes. The only positive thing I'll bring to the ending here is I think the cast did a pretty good job with acting and everything. I think they at least did what they could with the script, with the writing. The cast itself, I don't want to come down on them. I thought they killed it. Anthony Starr, Carl Urban, even Aaron Moriarty and Jack Quaid at the end with these last scenes, like they all acted well. I don't think it was their fault, but I think the writing with Eric Kripke's conclusions, I think we sacrificed a lot just to set up some boys Mexico stuff. So yeah, the happy ending didn't hit me great.
So I'm sorry. The more we talk about it, the more I feel like it's such a missed opportunity not to have Homelander go just ape shit on all of society. I already mentioned it, but like the way the boys is ran, like Dave said, just nothing but depravity and just crazy stuff going on. And everyone's obsessed with like, what if Superman goes bad? You know, and this was your freaking opportunity. Show us what, like, the New York should have looked like Metropolis in Man of Steel by the end of this. Like, he should have just went off on society, and you gotta have that missed opportunity. Then it felt so basic. But man, I still just really want to see a scene in any freaking universe where you have some Superman equivalent just going off on society, because you kind of built it up that way the whole time. The way he thought about lasering that crowd and all the control and power getting to his head, and he just didn't go there. Like, why not? Why did the final fight of Homelander take place in one room, like one bedroom? Like, it should have been way more.
That kind of attributes, and sorry, my last comment on your question, Andy. As a whole for the season, did we have any extras this season? Like the previous seasons felt like we were in a lived-in world. This entire season was like underground bunker, hideaway, office. Yeah, the test subjects or the test group or whatever to see if Homeland. That was the only extras. Other than that, though, it just felt like everything was like not in a lived-in world compared to the first few seasons where it felt like we were in a lived-in world, and all of a sudden it was like we were in the volume or something all season. We were just keeping it to these contained scenes, which just was like, this is not the world-breaking ending I was hoping for. So, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have commented that it seems that the more, like from basically seasons 4 and 5, the budget seems to have dropped compared to the money they spent in seasons 1 to 3. So you can understand that from, you know, why they would say that, given the scope of this season has been kept very contained, apart from maybe the first couple of episodes, because this season started off strong and to me it's ended really weak. Like I've already said, I hate this happy ending bullshit. I expected most of this lot to, I expected like 2 of them to be alive by the end of this. I literally expected like Kimiko, Mother's Milk, to have been killed off as well. Possibly even Ryan, although maybe I thought Ryan could get away with it being left alive. I expected Starlight and Huey to be the only ones left alive. To be honest, I expected everyone else to be killed off in this. So the fact that it just didn't happen, it was just the whole thing was just disappointing. So I don't really have much more to say about it, in the fact that I really enjoyed the start to the season. I thought it's got weaker as it's gone on, because the pacing was just weird. When you get to the penultimate episode, you still feel like we've got 3 or 4 episodes to go. A lot of the storylines didn't pay off. Britain talked about the fact that Soldier Boy was just been left in limbo and didn't even get to appear in this episode. which there was obviously a heavy thing that came out after last week's after the previous the penultimate episode and saying he won't be returning. And Eric Kripke even came out a few days later and went, it's not really true. Of course he's going to be back, and then he didn't fucking come back. So subverting, our expectations just makes you look like a fucking twat. So thanks for that, because Soldier Boy was needed in this. He was the best part of this entire season for me. Yes, as Huey points out, all of his put downs and his lines are to do with somebody sucking dick, but it doesn't mean that they're not funny.
It never got old.
Yeah, it never got old. It was like I just looked at my wife the other day and I was like, "Do you want some knee pads?" And she's just like, "Shut up, Andy," because you look like you want to suck my hog. So. Like, he was just bitterly missed, and that was just an even bigger letdown for me for this season. And the way that it ended is that you don't have Soldier Boy, and the fact that he goes out by just getting choked out by Homelander and put back in his stasis.
Oh, dumb.
Is that the weakness for all soups? Like, Black Noir is this ultra durable dude, and Deep just chokes him out and then stabs him through the neck with a tiny little knife and kills him. And then Soldier Boy, the one of the most powerful beings in the universe in the last century, just gets choked out super easily. Just like, so is a rear naked choke the key to the world here? Is that the weakness of every strong being? Like, and I heard, and I don't know, there are so many rumors out these days that you have no idea what you can actually take as fact or take as just some internet dude who started it. But I've seen it going around a lot that there originally was a crazy kind of scorched earth ending planned when they were in like season 3. But then as soon as The Boys Mexico and a couple other spin-off opportunities arose, they switched gears, and they changed a couple things. So I don't know if that's true. It's super unfair to immediately believe that. But if it is true, Eric Kripke, you can go to hell, and so can Amazon, and so can Jeff Bezos while we're at it, because that's just, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of just sacrificing stories so we can continue another show and another spinoff. Like, when is the last satisfying finale we've had on a series? Outside, Andor doesn't really count. It had a satisfying finale, but we knew how that was going to end. We knew that was kind of a contained story, so it doesn't necessarily count. But like, how many series that run more than 4 seasons do we really get quality endings to? Is what this kind of makes you think about.
Right. We should stop expecting shows to kill off characters too, because Stranger Things, even Game of Thrones, so many people freaking survived. Everyone survives almost.
Right. They did. But I think that comes down to, again, and it seems to be a pattern. After they hit 3 seasons, maybe the writer only had 3 seasons planned, but it's doing so well that the studio's like, no, we need more. Keep it extending. And then they try to force some extended story, like Game of Thrones, past the source material, turned into garbage. We get this. I've heard they didn't plan on 5 seasons initially, but I don't know. It just seems we always get these endings of these series. It's Peaky Blinders was great, and then season 4 and 5 were the weakest seasons of the 5. It was a better ending than this, but Stranger Things, disappointing ending. I mean, Sopranos, well, I won't even get into that.
That's a little long ago.
Ozark and Breaking Bad had good endings. Sons of Anarchy was somewhat disappointing, but still a better ending.
I mean, I didn't like it.
Yeah, for sure. And the goofy Christ air at the end and everything. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of shows that go more than 3 seasons that like have good endings. It feels like
that's weird. Think of all of our absolute favorite series. None of them have an amazing ending. Like, not one. Point one out that have an amazing ending, but they're still. I don't like that anymore. Now I'm getting. We need a good series finale, bro.
You got to cheat, like Daredevil season 3 in Netflix. I think, yeah, great, but was it an ending? Because they're still continuing it now. There's Ozark on Netflix. I think start to finish was really good, and they ended it with a really strong season. But there's just not a lot of shows.
Dave, let it fucking go, mate. Jesus Christ,
bro, man.
I'm trying to get Paul.
Pause. I got one real quick. A good ending.
I don't know who kicked him out, but I like it.
Poor Caleb get to his final review of the ending of the fucking show, and I've had to listen to Dave rant for half an hour about what other random shows we're not even reviewing had bad fucking endings.
Oh, yes, I like it. We're talking about parallel stuff.
And shows and nerds and conversations podcast.
No, you're right though. I forgot. The Caleb didn't give his final thoughts on this. I thought you
that is
The
Office
fair
had a
comment.
decent finale.
Love, go ahead. Sorry.
I mostly agree with what you guys said. I do think even the boys, nothing really happened with them throughout the whole season. They were like maybe trying a plan, didn't work, tried something else, didn't work, but they were very stagnant. Homelander becoming God was inevitable, but I think it was a little forced down our throats too much. After breaking down the episode with you guys, maybe I didn't like it as much as I originally thought I did. So you guys definitely brought it down for me a little bit. But it wasn't horrible. I do think the main story beats they got right. It's just how they got there wasn't super clean. So, but everyone, and they should have probably killed off, like what Andy said, it should have just been Starlight and Huey. That would have been way more impactful if Homelander was able to take out a couple of the boys, not just Frenchie, in the finale. So it's around like the season as a whole, it's probably like a 7, around a 7, I'd say.
Oh, it's 7-1. Yeah.
I think maybe
Finale
less
was
than that.
lower. Finale was in the 6s for me. I don't know about you guys.
I think that's generous. I know I have the famously harsh ranking.
What's your finale?
Finale, I think the finale is about a 4.8.
Woo! Probably lower, but I respect it.
Five's the middle ground here. 5 is supposed to be the middle ground out of 10. So
5 for me is
4.8.
dog shit. 5 for me isn't like a
failing.
medium
Failing,
level.
yeah.
Yeah, it's still like it's not great. Yeah, but
It's
no,
still-
I'm not criticizing your rating. I appreciate that.
I try and balance it in the fact that I try and think 5 is genuinely supposed to be the middle ground out of 10. So and it's just like, but we've said this before. 6 to 7 is generally considered to be like average now,
Meh,
and 7
yeah.
and then stuff again. So we start getting to the
Yeah.
good side. But yeah, for me, even still, I still think a 4.8 is to me fair because I just don't see the finale episode of being anything higher than that because it was just disappointing all around.
For the season, real quick, so I can kind of add to our ongoing list of ratings. What would you do the season?
I think the season overall gets a 6.4.
Okay. And love better
Simply
to
because
7.
I think the first three, maybe even 4 episodes were a lot better. Especially episode 1, I thought was probably the best out of the whole season, and then it was just a slippery slope downwards after about episode 3.
JD, you got a rating for the season? You're the only one I don't have something for right now.
Numbers are so hard. I always regret my rating. I liked this
Stay in
season
school, kids.
a lot more than season. Hey, I got a bachelor's, bro. Get off my back, Mr. Master's degree.
Yeah, big master chef here.
I liked it way more than season 4, and I think I like it more than season 3. I got to give it a rewatch. It's been a long time. Like I said, I like how focused this season was. I liked how much Homelander we got, but then there were some other things about it. But I don't know. I feel like the finale is okay, around 6 for me, and the season as a whole is actually probably a good 7.5 for me, which I think season 3 and 4 are definitely closer to like a base 7. Season 4 is probably under a 7. I don't know. That's what I got. It deserves a rewatch, man. I've never. The second time watching anything is always way more enlightening, and you figure it out. And I haven't rewatched any of the boys except for a few minutes here and there, but I'll have to see. But better than season 4, and for now, better than season 3.
I agree. Better than season 4.
Rewatch is a good
Season
call
4 is
as well.
trash.
Yeah, a rewatch is a good call because I came to the boys late as well. I only started watching it when season 3 was being released, so by the time season 3 ended, I'd caught up with season 3, and so maybe I'd watched more of it in one go, so I was getting more into it. But I think season 3 was probably my favorite overall.
I like season 3.
It's very close for me. I got season 1 a little higher. I was telling Lub earlier today. Actually, I had no idea what the boys was, and randomly I was at Megan's uncle's killing time. I think I was sick. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I saw the boys randomly on Amazon. I threw it on. I watched the first episode, and like half of it was like, I don't know if I want to keep watching this one. But there was enough where it was like, I kind of do though. And then I ended up, there was like 6 episodes out at that point, and I watched all 6 that first day and was like, well, shit, I guess I'm hooked. And so from there, and I've been rewatching season 1 since this season ended, and it's just great. Season 1 is such a great, like, it's so intriguing the way they set it all up.
The turning point was when Homelander and Maeve were in that plane, And they're like,
Oh,
fuck these guys, we're going to
crazy.
kill him. And Maeve's like, no. And I was like, oh, I know what this is about. And that's when I'm hooked. That was the turning
Dude,
point.
the plane was a good fucking part of the show.
Yeah, and they've called back to that this season too, which I thought they did do a lot of full circle stuff this season pretty well. A couple of things anyway.
A lot of lines. So I was watching the first few episodes of season 1, and there's like a lot of lines that were totally repeated in the finale word for word, where it was like, okay, they brought those statements like, I'm a motherfucker, but now I'm a motherfucker with a heart. Like that was said in the first episode. There was a lot of lines in the finale where I was like, oh shoot, okay. So they went back full circle. And season 1 didn't have much action, but like that's the thing. People were like, oh, just because there wasn't crazy action for this finale. It's like, no, season 1 didn't have that much finale, but the writing was incredible. I think it's just I don't think it was an action thing, even though that is what I wanted out of this finale was more action.
Right.
But the writing wasn't there either.
What makes me think, top of your head, best action scene in The Boys, period, all the seasons. I have that
Orgasm.
Starlight,
Orgasm,
Storm.
straight up.
I have the girl fight, Maeve, Starlight.
Season 2
and
finale. That's a good one.
Storm. That was such a good fight. I love
I agree.
Oh,
that
that's
was
a good choice.
That's how you do the girls get it done scene. Like that showed Endgame how to do it, because that didn't come off corny to me. I really enjoyed that. Like
at all, yeah. It worked.
Miko and Starlight get defeated, and then you just hear, hey, Kraut, and it's Queen Maeve, and then they all start beating it. Like that was super satisfying. So I'm with you
And
there.
just funny as well, and the fact that the guys all turn around and they're all just like, they literally are taken aback. And Frenchie's just like, girls know how to get it done.
Girls really do get it done. Yeah.
Sorry to keep pushing it, but also we didn't talk about the fact that Soulja Boy is not even in. I said Soulja Boy like the damn song.
I mean, I literally
Boy.
learned
Not
earlier,
even-
but it's fine.
Well, okay, well, I wasn't there the first 5 or so minutes, but goddamn,
I literally mentioned it like 10 minutes ago.
All right, well, maybe I'm just a retard, but man, we could just bring it back.
It's that bachelor's degree, mate. You got to up yourself.
You can't say that stuff here, okay? You could say the bachelor's part. You can't say retard here. Jesus,
You said it again.
Tired.
you can't say retard,
I'm in the
I'm
void
retired.
already. I don't want to get canceled again.
dude. You need some Soulja Boy in this season finale. Come on, he was the best new character out of the last few seasons. The best new character. Love us some Soulja Boy, and he's just freaking gone. I'm so sorry.
That's why I'm excited for Vought Rising, though. As Soulja Boy is the main character of a show, I'm down.
Although the trailer looks
Indeed.
awful, but
I haven't seen it yet.
For Vought Rising,
I expect it'll be pretty good.
I didn't think the
Yeah,
trailer
I'm with
looked
you
that
there.
bad. Even though
Not that great.
Yeah,
for me
I'm not going to
either,
watch
but-
it because I'm discouraged with Eric Kripke, but I didn't think the trailer was that bad as a standalone thing.
I didn't think the trailer was that. I mean, just obviously my own opinion.
I'm just super pumped regardless of the trailer since it's Soulja Boy front and center for the most part.
I think it's just the
Great
fact it's not
character.
going to be the Soldier Boy we know now, because
Right.
he takes decades to get to that stage. This is like him being the snoveling, having to get his parents' money to get him into the Compound V program anyway, and then becoming a hero. And he's like taking on all of his brothers' like attributes because they kind of give him to him of like he was a war hero and all this sort of stuff when he wasn't. So it's kind of like it's going to be a very different Soldier Boy from the one we used to.
Right.
Plus, Jensen Ackles, he doesn't look good without his beard. So, what can
Yeah,
I
he's
say?
kind of
That a
like
lot.
almost suckling at the teat. He wants to be a hero, where in The Boys, he's like, fuck being a hero. That's his vibe anyway. So that is a different Soulja Boy.
I mean, it's just Jensen Ackles, Ryan Gosling, just all very handsome men. And as by evidence of this podcast, we've all got beards at different stages, and we all look handsome in our own way. And that's what
Gosling
beard
has a
does for you.
stacked resume. Jensen Ackles has a few things, but Gosling's got a stacked resume. There, he has more to go before he gets to Gosling level, but he makes a great Soulja Boy, and he will make a good Batman.
The only reason I
He was good in
mentioned
Supernatural.
Gosling is because I compared Lub to like his kind of like Down syndrome cousin on yesterday's episode.
I said I'm like the third Hemsworth brother.
The fact that Love winked at the camera and smiled right before Andy said Down syndrome cousin was just incredible timing.
He didn't say Down syndrome yesterday. He added that.
Did I not? I thought I did. That's why I said it. If it helps, I compared myself to being like a cousin of like Jabba the Hutt. So, like,
Rada.
well, I'm not his son. I'm like his cousin,
Oh,
cousin of
son,
Rotter.
cousin. Damn it! I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh,
It's Stinky. Come on.
yeah, come on, it's
I know,
Rada the
I know,
Hutt.
I
We all know
He's
Rada,
been
don't
in it
we?
a couple times. I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, back to the boys, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Love, did you give a rating on the finale in the season?
The
Not the finale yet.
The finale. It'd probably be like a 6.9.
69. Nice.
Beautiful. Copied me.
Are we excited for the boys Mexico? Let's finish on that.
No.
It depends.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But The Boys was a surprise in the first place. I'll be happy if this is a surprise and it's a really cool show. But like, I'm not like a big Boys fan. I don't read the comics just because of the artist. I can't stand Steve Dillon's art. I don't know.
Dude, it's
I'm gonna
rough.
Yeah, that's Beavis and
Yeah.
Butthead. We say that about Frank Quietly, how Cyclops look like Beavis and Butthead, but literally Steve Dillon, it looks like it takes place in the universe of Beavis and Butthead, and it's just like,
Ooh.
come on.
I'll
Yeah,
check
so
it
we'll see.
out. I'll check it out for sure. I'll watch it, see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching it. I think it depends as well which, like, because we're going to get new characters. Obviously, I think it depends which returning characters they use as well. It'd be interesting to obviously see Brian maybe return
Right.
of Soldier Boy just to get him out of cryostasis and not him just be left in limbo forever. Could be good.
Yeah, what are they gonna do with Soldier Boy?
I
Leave
don't
him
know.
there?
I kind of expected like Ashley to
we
run
don't
away at the
know.
end and go and defrost him and bring him into battle, but yeah, it's just another story, isn't it? So, but thank you, ladies and
Gonna change
gents.
the current atmosphere of rap.
Dave's internet is playing a beauty right at the end there.
It held up though.
It was good. It was good for 1 hour and 19 minutes, and in that last minute, it just decided that it just wanted to shit the bed. So it held in there. It held on so well. But thank you, everyone, for joining us for this coming together of all of us, which is a rarity. JD was able to join us at the last minute, which we weren't expecting, but it was a fucking pleasant surprise and a pleasure because we love getting all four of us together. It's such a rarity, so it's really good that all four of us could jump in together. We get to have a little bit of a return to normal schedule because we've had a fucking crazy 2 months. We've had The Boys, we've had Daredevil, we've had Maul. We've pretty much been concentrating on all those things. We've had Weekend Geeks that we obviously roll over and try and do as much as possible as well. Thankfully, we get a little bit of a break now. We've got Spidey Noir starts this week, so I'm not sure if we'll cover that weekly, but that may be more of we'll do a couple of blocks of episodes at a time. Obviously, we'll continue Weekend Geeks. We've got some nerd therapies lined up as well because we've been dying to get some done. I know Dave has got some zingers lined up for us in some nerd therapies. So check out our social media and make sure you're keeping an eye out when we're going to be doing those episodes. Of course, if you listen on Spotify, make sure that you set your alarm every Tuesday morning. Episodes drop on Spotify so you can listen to your heart's delight as you travel your way to your dead-end job and wish that you were sitting here with us instead. So make sure you're tuning in for that. And of course, if you love watching us on YouTube and you love watching my shiny head and Dave's shit internet, then you can go back through all the catalogue that we've got of our episodes on YouTube here and watch everything. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. And as always, we will catch you next time on Why So Serious, a Nerd Podcast.